Retro Ghetto.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the Retro Ghetto. So, a thing that is eagerly pursued or sought after, that is the definition of a grail. Admittedly, that is quite a loose definition. I think you could describe most of the things that I have in this room as a grail if you were to go on that definition alone. But I do think that myself and other collectors often overuse the term grail. For me personally, I think if I really broke down what a grail was to me, I don't think it would be any individual video game. I think it'd probably be more promotional pieces, standees, shop display products. That's really where my passions lie in terms of what I consider a grail. I think because I put a bit more value on a grail of something that's hard to attain, something that you don't come across very often, as opposed to just something that's very expensive or something that you have been actively trying to buy for some time. So for me personally, I'd probably say things like a Super Nintendo kiosk would probably be my grail. However, in terms of video games, this is my #1 target, or it has been up until yesterday when it arrived. This is something that I've been really wanting to add to my collection for some time. And also, it's the most expensive video game I've ever bought. So in that terms, I think you could be forgiven for maybe describing this one as a grail. However, I didn't just want this game because it's expensive or because it's rare. This is a game that I've been actively wanting to play through for quite some time. I've recently announced that I'm going to be going for a full Super Nintendo set. I'm not in a rush to do it, but I'm hoping to complete the full 530 game PAL Super Nintendo set. And this is just a game that I think is an imperative game to have for any great Super Nintendo collection. It's one of them real standout titles, and as I say, for me personally, it's a must-own on the system. As I also said on last week's video, one of the key components to me being able to pursue a full Super Nintendo set is that I don't collect mint video games, and this in many ways was the perfect storm. As soon as I saw this listing on eBay, I thought, yes, I have to have this. It's far from mint, but in my opinion, from the pictures I've seen, it's certainly good enough to be in my collection, and I think it will display beautifully on the SNES wall once I put it in a box protector. And as I've said, this is the most expensive video game I've ever bought, certainly in one go. There probably are games that I've paid more for over time in piecing together the manuals, the cart, the box, etc. But in terms of paying outright for, in cash, not CX vouchers, in one go, this is the most expensive game I've ever bought. I paid £160 plus postage for this. However, if this game hadn't been in the condition it was in and it was in better condition, it would have been significantly more expensive. Currently listed on eBay, there is one for £700, and the last one that I saw sold was almost £300, which is, you know, pretty much twice the price of this one. And to clarify, for my £160, I've got a complete game. So there's box, manual, and cartridge in here. And there's actually a sold listing on eBay of somebody that bought the cartridge and the manual in a reproduction box for £170. Which again, further proves the fact that I think I've got a bargain in my hands. Okay, let's do it, shall we? I've been sitting on this game for over 24 hours now, and I am itching to get this box open and see what is inside. Okay, so we're going to switch to this camera here to get into this one. Let's just tear into it, right? I've waited too long. Patience has already been exhausted. Okay. Plenty of bubble wrap, which is always a good sign, especially with a game this expensive. Okay, let's see what we've got. It's in a box protector. Yeah, that's nice. I've been waiting a long time to see this game in my hands. And that is Sunset Riders. This side-scrolling action game was developed and released by Konami originally as an arcade game in 1991. It was later ported to the Mega Drive in 92 and ultimately the Super Nintendo in 1993. Testament to how good this game is, it's even actually had a port to PlayStation 4 and Switch as recently as 2020. Based in the old American West, this game revolves around 4 bounty hunters named Steve, Billy Cool, Bob and Kamano Wild, who set out to earn rewards for eliminating the most wanted outlaws in the West. Up to 4-player fun over 8 stages with a challenging boss fight at the end of each stage. This game came out to much critical acclaim, with SNES Force actually giving this an 89% on its review. Complex recently ranked this as the 36th best Super Nintendo game of all time. Now, given how many fantastic titles are on the Super Nintendo, that is no mean feat. Right then, so let's take a look at what I actually got for my £160. We're going to get out this box protector, and then we'll be able to see exactly what we've got. I'm already delighted, right, because I can see how nice this looks. But obviously I want full transparency and I want to show you guys exactly what I got for my money. Obviously it's not going to be mint. So, if we take a look, the first thing and the worst damage is this here. So there's a mark on the front where it looks like it's had a sticker or something removed. I will be cleaning this up, so if you tune into next week's vlog, I'll be making this look even more presentable than it does now. But yeah, that's definitely the worst of it. As you can see, there's some damage in the corners. And then on the side, which often gets opened, you can see that it's had some issues where it's been opened and closed over the years. But as I say, guys, you need to bear in mind, somebody paid £170 for a repro box. And for me, that's what it's all about. It's all about value for the money in which you spend. I don't want to be going out spending £300 or £500 on this game. I'd rather have it for £160 in this condition. For me, this is definitely passable. So let's take a look inside. Okay, so the cartridge looks really nice. There is some yellowing to the back, but that's irrelevant with Super Nintendo games because you can easily swap out the back. It doesn't make any difference. I can swap that out with a less title. And crucially, we've got the manual, which is in pretty decent condition. And the thing for me is that it's complete. I wouldn't want it to have spent £160 with still having the asterisk next to it that I needed to add the manual. I am absolutely delighted with that. I think I've got myself an absolute bargain. As I say, this has been joint number 1 on my list. There is one other game that I've been actively pursuing for quite some time. Ever since I bought Biker Mice from Mars, there's been 2 other games that I really wanted to add, and hopefully in the not too distant future we'll be making an episode on the other one, which I've been eager to add. But so happy not only to add this to my collection, but to be able to play through this game. I've purposely not played this game on any of the modern releases because I wanted to play it the old-fashioned way, and for me, yeah, that just adds to the magic of spending the money and buying a game of this magnitude that I can sit down and play it the old school way, right? And for me personally, it all comes down to value. That's the way in which I collect. If I wanted to get that game in better condition, I probably would have ended up paying twice the price. Do I value another £150 maybe on top of that just to have a neater box? Personally, no. That's not the way in which I collect. I'm not knocking those that do. But for me, I'm just as happy with that box and the extra 150 quid in my pocket that I can put towards the next SNES Grail that I'm going to need for my collection. I really want to know from you guys, what are your Grails? What do you perceive a Grail to be? Or what is your number 1 target in terms of video games? Equally, do you think I've got a good deal? Let me know in the comments if you think I would have been better off spending twice the price on a more expensive game, or wherever you think like I do and that I've got an absolute bargain and a gem for the collection. As always, play your games, keep it retro. I'll see you guys on Sunday for what is another stacked vlog, and we're going to take a deeper look at this game. We're going to clean it up a bit more, and we'll be adding it to the Super Nintendo wall. I'll see you all then. Take care.
Retro Ghetto.